Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for organizing this. I'm Blythe Potter, and I am seeking the Democratic Party nomination for Secretary of State. I'm a veteran, I'm a mom, I'm a small business owner, and the primary job I want to do is involve new politics, new people, fresh blood in Indiana. And as your Secretary of State, I want to work to empower Hoosier voters. As Bo mentioned, we are nearly bottom of on the rankings of outcomes for public health, public schools, voter turnout. And I think the way that we fix that is by informing and better educating our voting base. We have relatively decent voter registration. Our turnout is atrocious. In 2024, 38% of registered voters didn't vote. In 2022, 60% of voters that voted for this office decided not to vote. So we have a real disconnect between what's happening in politics and what people are voting for. So how we change that is many other states have voter guidebooks. I want to implement that, something that comes from the Secretary of State's office, nonpartisan, impartial information that tells people exactly what they need to know, where their voting location is, the hours, how to get an absentee ballot. Better informed voters almost have to ignore the fact that there are elections coming up. We can improve our outcomes that way. We fix all the problems in the state of Indiana if we inform our voters and vote out the supermajority that we've been plagued with for the last 20 years. I am from a rural community. I live in a rural community. I also have lost one of our rural hospitals, our Women's Care Center in Johnson County. We have to change something. And I also think part of that means we need to change how we do politics. We need to start doing a different playbook than what we've been doing the last 20 years so that we can start progressing Democrats across the state. Lake County has great turnout with Democrats. We need the rest of our state to be able to catch up. I've been to 66 of the 92 counties so far, and I hear the same things over and over again. People do not feel like their leaders are listening to them. They do not feel like they're responding. They're not governing all of the people. They're listening to their donors. They're listening to the Republican Party's playbook, and they're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. So implementing a voter guidebook, so important. I am a veteran. I was in the military police corps for 8 years. I was a bodyguard for General George Casey. So I have leadership experience. I've been in customer service in some capacity since I was 14, and this is a customer service job. When I was getting my LLC for my small business in 2018, it was a pretty clunky experience. The website could use some updating, and I also want to, on top of updating the website, making it mobile ready, let's empower our entrepreneurs and our small business owners. Have some optional questions after they, thanks. Have some optional questions after they get their organizational paperwork. Get some information about them. If it's a female, if they're a veteran, there are ways for people to have better success, capital funding, working with the Small Business Administration or SCORE or the Indiana Small Business Development Corporation, leading them into the right directions, places they may need to go next. When I was getting my business started, I didn't know I needed to go to the town hall and be rezoned. I didn't need to know that I needed to go to the Department of Homeland Security and get a paperwork signed off because we were close to a railroad track. Things like this push our small businesses back. They harm us. It doesn't help us. We always seem to help the big businesses and not the little guys. So we need to fix that for sure. And most importantly, I want to lead by example. We have a tendency of having leadership in the state that's do as I say, not as I do. We need servant leaders in office. We need people who know what it means to suffer under a GOP supermajority for the last 20 years, who knows what it means to be working class, who knows what it means to have a hospital in your community or a school in your community closing, because that's the majority of the people in Indiana. Our rural communities, our rural families have been ignored, our infrastructure is bad, and the way we change that is by getting people in office that will change it, and by voting out the people who've gotten us here. So I would really love your support. I would love for you to vote for me. My website is blythepotter.com. I'd love for you to check that out on my platform. There is a tab for you to offer feedback if you have any ideas or things that might help bolster it. There's also a special tab on there for delegates. If you happen to be a delegate, there's information that's up to date on there, and we will update that as we go along. And also follow me on social media. I love questions and feedback. Thank you for being Democrats in Indiana. Thank you for your service to our state, and I'm very much looking forward to meeting you and a blue wave in 2026.